Hey guys, it's me here, and since it's been a while since I've done a video for you guys, I thought I'd do a little quickie video here to give my first thoughts of the new Doctor Who episode, The Pilot. Dear God, that's a dumb pun. But yeah, so I'm just going to be bringing you my quick thoughts because I literally just watched the episode about 10 minutes ago. And yes, this will be spoiler free. I don't really want to give away spoilers. Partly because there's very little left to spoil because the amount of stuff that's been leaked about this series is insane. But regardless, you won't be having anything ruined for you if you want to go into the episode without knowing the outcome. So, here we go. So to begin with, first overall opinion, I quite liked it. I definitely was entertained by this one. I have to admit that even though I'm definitely not someone who doesn't like Stephen Moffat on principle, I have to admit that some of the episodes he was doing near the end of Series 9 and even quite a few episodes of Series 8 were kind of losing my attention in the series. But he definitely brought out the big guns for this one. It's definitely got his unique and very, very well done blend of scares, comedy, sci-fi, and a little bit of the tragic drama that goes in there with his really good writing. So I'm glad to see that he definitely did a good job with this one. This is of course going to be his last series before he steps down as head writer, and then Chris Chibnall's going to be taking over, which those of you who are familiar with Chris Chibnall's work on both Doctor Who and Torchwood would be a little bit either concerned or excited to see all the various sex stuff that he normally has in his episodes be one of the main things. But regardless, with that, yeah, I definitely thought the overall writing and narrative of the episode was good. The Doctor, he's great as always. Capaldi's definitely becoming one of my all-time favourite Doctors just because of his... It's difficult to kind of pin down exactly what he is, but I kind of feel like it's a mix between having that kind of cynicism that you have when you start to enter the winter of your years, which you could argue the Doctor is doing, but he also has that wide-eyed, curious, fun-loving element that is in most of the versions of the Doctor. In fact, I always felt that he was playing an older version of Matt Smith's Doctor, but that's just my opinion. Either way, Capaldi is great as always, and it's entertaining to see him in where he's come since he started in his series. Seeing him play an undercover university professor is definitely an interesting turn, though I think it works. He does kind of remind me of those sort of university professors who doesn't really care for where he is, but you know that there's something about his job that he loves doing. But regardless, it's always great to see Capaldi. Matt Lucas does okay. I think I liked him a bit more than I did in last year's Christmas special, mostly because it felt like he had no reason to be there. In fact, I'm still kind of wondering why he was brought back for this series. Maybe he bribed Moffat or something. But either way, he did do a decent job. He basically exists just to kind of pipe in with a bunch of little one-liners and little comedy slapstick here and there, which it does occasionally work. I've heard he's not going to be in the entirety of this series, which I think would be for the best. He'd probably get annoying if he was through the whole thing. So if it's just for a few episodes, then I can probably tolerate him. But as for the new companion of Bill, I was actually quite pleasantly surprised by her. I was actually quite concerned when I saw the trailers. I thought that she was going to be quite obnoxious and maybe trying to play it to the tween audience a little bit too much, but she was actually very, very entertaining. She has a very kind of likeable charm about her, and she's quite awkward, but in that kind of quirky way that makes you not kind of look down on her or find her mockable, but in a way it's actually kind of relatable. And I think that a lot of people, particularly people like myself, could probably relate to her, but to be fair, I can understand why some people might find her annoying. And in fairness, some of her dialogue is not the best, but sadly that seems to be a trend with a lot of Moffat companions. They're performed well and they have a good concept for a character, but some of their dialogue's not too good. But even so, the actress who performs her, which admittedly I do apologise, I can't remember her name because, again, literally just watched the episode 10 minutes ago, but she did a really good job, and I look forward to seeing what she's going to be doing more in the successive episodes. In terms of the kind of tone of the episode, it definitely had some good scares in it. Probably some of the best ones I've seen from the Capaldi series, because the Capaldi series hasn't had that many great scary episodes. I mean, we've had a few like Flatline and I guess in a way Sleep No More can have a bit of a creepy element to it, but we've never had one on the par with Blink or The Empty Child that really, really made you feel uneasy. So I feel like this one did get close to that kind of tone that they set in those episodes. The villain's definitely a unique one, although in fairness, the plot of this episode does feel like they're combining the plots of both The Lodger and Waters of Mars with a little bit of Silence in the Library and mashing them all together, which, you know, if you ask most Stephen Moffat haters, you'd say that he's been rehashing and combining his story's ideas since he first became head writer. But even so, it's still quite a good episode, and the effects are really, really good. And there's a couple of little nods and Easter eggs in there that it might take you a few tries or views to get them all fully, but they're definitely good. I'd say there's none in there that make you go, oh, really, they're doing this? I mean, I'm sure there will be some of those for some fans, but regardless, for someone like me who is admittedly kind of bordering the line between a casual and hardcore fan of Doctor Who, I definitely enjoyed it, and I thought it was a strong opening for Season 10, and it's giving me hope that this series will, at the very least, while I didn't hate Series 8 and 9, it was definitely not my favourites of the modern series of Doctor Who. So this gives me hope that the upcoming series episodes will definitely be some of the highlights of the Capaldi era, and maybe a good one for Moffat to go out on. But either way, that's the end of it, and I've had enough of this. I'm going on the other side to have a bath. Bye!